So hello guys, welcome back. This is Siddharth here, and today we are going to talk about state pattern. So usually when we program, we have an animator and we make different states, and we have one script, central script that controls all these animation and it changes the states. But what is the problem with this uh, mechanism system of Unity? Problem here is as we start growing into more bigger project, it becomes very difficult to find or debug where is the mistake, or if something goes wrong it is very difficult to handle it and find out. First of all, it is very difficult to find out where the error is or where I'm doing wrong. So what does state pattern do? State pattern is a system, or you can say architecture, that is like alternative to the usual scripting that we do. What it does is it has a one central script. Okay, I'll show you. It has one context script that is a mono behavior, and it handles everything related to uh, overall animation and states of state changes. I'm saying animation, but actually it is a state. So each animation is a different state. Like we can have a idle state, walking state, running state, jumping state. So what happens if we are making all of this in one simple one script? It becomes difficult to find out or like uh, extend the code. So what we do is we have one central context code that has all the details and handling mechanics about how states will change, and then and this is mono behavior, by the way. And then we have abstract class. We can call it like base state, and this has all the functions that each of these concrete states should create and follow. What are these concrete states? So concrete states are like how how many states you have. You can create one script for all these states. Like if you have idle state in your game, you can create one script of idle. If you have walking, you can create one script for walking. If you have running, you can create one script of running. And all of these derive from abstract class, that is base state class. And it has some, since it is an abstract class, all the functions defined in this class should be implemented in these concrete states. It might be difficult to understand as of now, but as we move into coding part, we'll realize it's very effective and easy. So what it does is it provides a more organized and maintainable approach to managing state specific behavior. So what happens, since we have different script for each states, so like when if in our game our player is not able to jump, we exactly know where to find out and where to go for to solve that issue. And then it is e- in the beginning it is like quite uh, difficult to start, but then once you uh, establish that structure, it becomes very easy to extend the states. Like if you have hundreds and hundreds of states, it becomes very easy to manage. So I'll explain you by the example of apple. So for example, we can have a apple tree, and we can have a apple, and apple has different states. Like it has a growing state in the beginning where it is growing, and then we have whole state like when it has completely grown up, and then after it has grown up it starts rotting, and then if somebody plucks it out and eats it, it is juice. So this is a simple example, and we will try to create our scripts and a small game based on this. So these are our four steps, and by the way, I'm using these photos, and I am following the video of I Love Game Dev channel on YouTube. So if you want, you can go and watch that also. So now I'll explain how I achieved this. So first of all, we have a apple. Okay, and apple has only one script attached, that is apple states manager. So as I earlier told you, we'll have one context script, and that will contain all the data. So for us, we have to only attach the context script to the game object. So our context script is this. So what happens is, first we'll create one context script and it will have mono behavior, and then we'll create one base state. Here it is, Apple base state. I'll explain the codes in a bit. And then after base states, also by the way, base state does not inherit from mono behavior. It is just a abstract class. And then since we have 1 2 3 4 states, we'll make 4 script like apple growing state, apple whole state, apple rotten state, and apple chewed state. So each of these script will create, and state pattern is like this only. For each state you will have one script. So, and all these 4 script, growing, chewed, rotten, whole, all of these inherit from apple base state. Okay, first of all, apple base state will have 3 abstract class. Since the class is abstract, we'll have to also define functions or methods that are also abstract. So first of all is enter state, update state, and on collision enter. So since we are not using mono behavior here, and we will need that life cycle of Unity, that is start, update, and that. So it is very similar to that. So we'll create one enter, one update, and this will take our context class, that is states manager, that has all the data. So to run these states, we'll need the access for these apple states manager class. And since this is abstract class and all of these are inheriting from that, so all of these class, chewed, growing, and these, will have to implement this. So we have implemented enter state, update state, and on collision enter in all of these. If you don't do this, it will throw some error. I'll explain the code in a while in detail or for all of this. So our first state for this is growing state. First let's understand what is context. First of all, we'll have a base state and it will define what is our current state. This is just, I wanted to show the text, so that is for this. And then we'll create instance of all the states that we have. Okay, and on the start we'll set our current state as growing state, since this is our first state. So as soon as the game starts, we'll enter into growing state. And then, yeah, that only I told. Current state is equal to enter state is equal to this. By this we mean, since our enter state needs the reference for apple, since this is the only script that is attached to the apple, so we can take the details of apple through this script. So we'll pass on this. So as soon as the game starts, we'll be into growing state. Okay, and then we just run whatever the current state is, we run that update state, and on collision, whichever the state we are currently, run the on collision enter function of that script. For example, if we are now in growing script, since in the beginning we are setting it to growing state. So what happens in growing state, as soon as the game enters, I am adding this text into the screen. I'll show you that. As of now on collision enter we have nothing, so it will do nothing. But in update, since our apple is growing, we are taking scale of the apple and increasing the scale until it is 3. So it will show how apples are growing, and as soon as the apple is grown and it reaches more than 3, we'll switch our state from apple state, we'll switch our state from growing to whole state. As you can see, growing to whole. So now what happens, since this is running all the time update status of this one. So now it will find out which current state is there. So after growing we'll go into whole state. So as soon as we enter into this state, we'll show this text that we have grown up. And then what we'll do in update, we'll start our countdown. So this will be a rotten countdown, and then if it reaches like particular time, like we have written 5f, that means 5 seconds. If that reaches that, it will switch to rotten state. And if you want uh, our if you want our player to be able to pick this apple, if you want our player to pick this apple, you can get the reference of your player script. As of now I don't have player script, so you can get the reference of that script and add health. Say by that means by eating apple your health increases. So after the countdown is over, we'll go into rotten state. What happens in rotten state? Okay. Also, as soon as our apple is grown up, we'll apply rigid body and use gravity to true. And what this will do, it will make the apple fall down into the ground. This is how fruits work, right? So this is what it is for. Then as soon as we enter rotten state, we show this state into text, and then we can even take the reference of the player controller and reduce the health. Since the apple is rotten and if the player eats that, it means the player should decrease health. So this is done, and then after the player has eaten, and we can go into chewed state. Since the player has eaten the apple, we can go into chewed state, and as of now there is nothing. Okay, so I just realized this apple switch state will never work because it was here inside this, and since we don't have a player, it will never go into the chewed state. Although it doesn't make sense that it has been rotten and goes into chewed state, but still, just to show that it works, what I did is I added a timer for like 3 seconds. If the timer reaches its time, it will be switched to chewed state. And what happens in chewed state, it will just showcase that we have been chewed, and after 5 seconds the object will destroy. So this is what a whole life cycle of apple in simple game will look like. So I'll show you how this is working. And remember, we only attach the script of context script to the apple states manager. So that's it. And since we'll start the game and see what happens. Hello from growing state. I'll keep growing until someone plucks me up or I get rotten. So as you can see, the size is growing, and as soon as it reaches 3, the gravity will start working and this apple will fall down. So let's just wait for that. I know this size are quite big, but it works, right? So hello from rotten state. I was not picked up, so I got, and then 3-second timer got over and I have been eaten now. Thanks. It also got destroyed after 5 seconds. So this is how we can implement state pattern. And now you'll ask, what is the use of this doing these many code, tracking these many code? So just now imagine, like, we have to add another state, we can easily add and extend our code. So like I'll show you how easy it is now to extend our states. Like if we have so many states, we can extend now. We have to do just this apple base state, and then it will say to implement all the abstract class. We can implement the abstract class, and then we can do whatever the functionality we want. and everything will work so smoothly. Sorry. Now, as you can see, in growing state we don't need to know the what are the parameters, what are the things inside the CUET state or any other state. It just know about itself how much fast I need to grow, that's all. Similarly in whole state, it just needs to know how much time it takes from whole state to rotten, that's all. Similarly in rotten state, how much time it takes to rot to chewed state, that is like I added it for myself. But the script are not interlinked, like interlinked I will not say, it is not the correct word, but they don't need to know about other states. And I think this is what abstraction or encapsulation it is. So this is how you implement an state pattern, and you can see how easy it becomes to extend now. Since I showed the example, it is so easy now. So this is why we should try to implement a state pattern, and it makes our work a lot of easy. So that's all for today. Thank you.